Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to QBL Round 10 action live from Llewellyn Stadium in Ipswich. Tonight we see the QBL men with the Ipswich Force take on the Sunshine Coast Phoenix in your QBL Game of the Week, presented by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. And as always, I'm going to hand you over to your commentators for tonight's games. We've got John Guana, international commentating superstar, Dan George, former Siebel and QBL player, and the always wonderful and insightful Dave Derwin.
Thank you for that, Regan. Fellas, Dan, Dave, should be an exciting matchup from two very potent offenses here tonight. The Ipswich Force and the Sunshine Coast Phoenix, both unfortunately coming in off of a couple of losses last weekend. Sunshine Coast features the top scorer in the QBL in Roy Booker, and Ipswich answers with Kyle Harvey up there with the best scorers in the competition. It should be an exciting affair, Dan.
It absolutely should, and I mean, these guys from the Phoenix, CJ Massingale is maybe 36, maybe 35, 36 this year, I think, and he's been a great player in Australia for many years. Played in NBL, played in the Siebel for a long time. Roy Booker's done the same, but they're a bit older, so they're going to play a slower, grinded-out style of game, I would think. Whereas this Ipswich team, I would hope, up and down the court on their home surface tonight, at home, in front of the crowd, maybe playing a higher tempo. So in for a good match tonight. Dave,
you see the teams. I know you've done your homework. What are your keys to this game for both teams?
Well, it's a bit of a weird one statistically. I mean, the Phoenix, they boast some good numbers. Number one in rebounding this season. But also counteracted with number one in turnovers, 20 turnovers a game, which really hurts them. And so I think that's a good metaphor for their season. They've been very inconsistent, had some good wins, had a few bad losses. But, they're certainly a team that can be around the mark. They just got to string a few wins in a row, coming off a 4-game losing streak. So they really got to turn it around tonight.
And for Ipswich, they've struggled since we've seen them last. They are sitting with 2 wins and 7 losses. Ipswich, though, they must be looking at this one, and they come in every night with the greatest of intents. They would certainly think this game is a winnable game. What do the Force have to do to spring a mini upset against the Phoenix?
Well, I think they need to sort of throw out a little bit of their predictable offense. I mean, we covered their game a little while ago, and it was just fairly methodical and pretty predictable. So I'd like to see them a bit freer in motion. Jason leading the charge, obviously with his penetration, but equally, letting others move the ball. Let Harvey make some decisions. Let Garrett make some decisions. Taking a bit of pressure off Jason to, make every decision for them offensively and just play a bit freer, I think, is the key for them. They've got plenty of talent. I mean, Joe Owens, Josh Spears, etc. Plain's been playing well this year as well. So I just think they need to be a bit more freer on offense and then a bit more disciplined on the defensive end.
Dan, the last time we were here at Ipswich, Mitch Pillane had one of the greatest stat lines that we've seen since we've been covering the QBL. 21 points, 16 rebounds, 14 of which were offensive. Can he replicate that tonight here against Delvon Johnson?
If he does, Delvon Johnson should be sent home. Delvon Johnson, in all seriousness, fellas, is averaging 9 points and 9 boards a game. He should be in the QBL a 15 and 15 player minimum without a single play being run for him. He should just be a monster on the glass. And if he's not, the Phoenix aren't going to do anything.
Oh, Johnson nearly got the assist. Hall opens up the scoring, though, for the Ipswich Force. Good early touch, though, for Johnson on the first Phoenix possession.
Well, I think when you have a team that's stacked like they are, as Roy Booker gets in the lane and shows some of his skill to get 2 points on the board for the Phoenix. I mean, the Phoenix have a great team, and they're not performing as well as on paper they would probably think they would be. Delvon Johnson's going to get angry. It's a weak showing and on ball. He's got to come out here and just want to rip the rim off the board, in my opinion, and just dominate inside, which he should given his matchup tonight.
Well, it's going to be a tough cover for Ipswich. Booker, Johnson as well, so good push ahead. Poulain running the floor, gets rewarded and finishes with the reverse left hand.
And that's what I talked a little bit about too, you know, getting the ball in Hall's hands and letting him make some decisions as well. Just takes a bit of pressure off Jason having to run the offense every single time. And I actually think he makes some really good decisions in transition.
Oh, he's running the show at the moment, gets to the rim. Left-handed layup is too strong. It's tipped around. Hall recovers, misses again. And he finds a cutting Spears. Floater is good. So Force come out with a 6-2 lead here early. And Dave, Josh Spears, a player that you're familiar with. He's a really nice addition to the squad for the Force.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a block by Kyle Harvey. I think they're going to get Spears on that one. No, they're going to get Harvey.
Wow. Yeah, Spears, obviously a Townsville kid. Went over to college, coached him in the 20s a few years ago, and you know, really good kid. Made the move down to Brisbane, finished school now.
Josh Walters, the free throw line.
And he's certainly capable of being a 15-pointer guy, 15-pointer game guy in this league. I think, you know, lights out shooter.
Yeah, at the moment, Spears averaging on the season 11 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. He's played 4 games for Ipswich so far on his return from the U.S. college system. Ralph guarded by Walters. Pass is stolen by Walters. Kicks ahead now to Booker. Booker against Harvey. Layup is good.
Well, Poulain's got to dive harder on that pick and roll. He just didn't do anything. He didn't pop. He didn't dive.
Is that you protecting your boy Jason Ralph from another costly turnover?
That was a bad turnover.
Harvey pushing it. He misses.
What I'm saying is the defender just didn't have to do anything either. You know what I mean?
Massengale's 3 is short. Johnson is fouled inside by Poulain. He had a handful of Delvon Johnson's jersey. You see Phoenix really looking to play fast as well. Couple of quick shots.
Well, it's obvious that these guys have all got the green light to shoot when they see a shot there. And I mean, the slow, methodical, grinded offense might be something they've got to go to late in the game, but right now they're getting up and down. But I'd still like to see Johnson get more involved. Maybe he's not putting up numbers because he feels like he's a little bit taken for granted out there. Maybe let's make him a focus and dump the ball down to the post and see what he can do, because they've got to engage him. Otherwise, they're going to struggle against the better teams in the league, I think. And tonight is a chance for him with his matchup to put up some huge numbers and get some confidence.
That's a tough pass there from Booker. Ralph steals it. And he pulls up for a jumper. That's good from Ralph.
Well, I think so too, Thunder. And the first possession was exactly that. Give it to him in the block. He made a nice pass. They missed the layup, but it was you know, good action that led to a good shot.
Well, if you want him to go and average 12 boards on the defensive end, block shots, you've got to give him a bit of love on offense sometimes as well. And here we go here. Let's see what he can bring.
Oh, Wilson went for the big one. Hall comes up with the rebound, goes right at Massengale, hands it off for Harvey to lay in with the left hand. Dave, your call so far here early. You see Garrett Hall running the show, making some good decisions here early for Ipswich.
Yeah, I think, and that's where they would need to play. They need to be a really transition team. They got some young guys. They need to get out and run and sort of bust teams open offensively. They don't have the experience other teams have, so.
Booker's 3 cuts the Phoenix deficit to 1.
Booker 6 turnovers a game, gents. He's averaging.
Poulain blocked by Johnson. Goes back at him again.
Oh, that's unlucky, that foul call. But good persistence from Poulain. 6 turnovers without watching the games, Dave.
Yeah, it's hard
on the box score, you're like, geez, you've got to look after the ball. But if you look at the games, maybe it's because they don't run good offense. Maybe it's because he's got to try and do everything. Maybe because he gets the ball late shot clock and has to create something out of nothing. And who knows what the reasons are for. But whether it's him just not looking after the ball or if it's the other factors I just mentioned, either way, it's not good. And they've got to make their offense a bit more efficient. And I know Braden on the coaching sidelines probably, feels the need to make this team perform, because they do have a good team and a good list, but it's it's often easier said than done, bringing it all together and putting a performance on the floor that produces, W's consistently.
Booker, step back along the baseline. That's too strong. He certainly has the green light. Hall pushing his pass a little bit behind Harvey. It's a turnover, and here comes the Phoenix. Look inside for Massengale. Skips it out to Booker.
This is going up.
Delvon Johnson goes baseline, powers through. His layup is too strong. Ralph.
You can see though, Delvin, sorry, John.
Yeah, you go ahead.
John Rouse fouled, getting into the paint there, but Delvin Johnson gets the ball on the block, takes 2 or 3 seconds, looks, and he's got his defender, plus there's an Ipswitcher just sitting someone right on the split line under the hoop.
Yep.
So if he wants to make a move like he just did, he takes one dribble and he's double teamed. So of course he's going to get frustrated. They've got to get him, like we said with Abby Bishop in the women's game, John, which Dave, you may or may not have missed. I'm not sure if you were tuned in or not to the women's broadcast, but we were talking about the fact that you've got to get these bigs on the move. You can't just dump to Delvin Johnson, let him get double teamed and say, why aren't you producing?
Yeah.
Start him on the wing, back cut him into the post, go and set a cross pick for him, let him catch it on the move so he can get the ball, put up a hook shot or do what he needs to do before a double team can get there. Because if you don't, he's just going to get more and more frustrated and more disengaged, and that's probably what's happening and why his numbers are as low as they are compared to what I think they should be.
That foul was on Josh Walters. It's the third team foul as Spears hits.
Well, it's just interesting too, because obviously the modern game is perimeter based, jack of 3. And so they think that every now and then they throw the ball into a big, that's a good paint touch.
I agree. But if we also look at the modern game of just pick and dive, DeAndre Jordan, and JaVale McGee's and these guys, why can't Delvin Johnson, if you want to play that way, just let him pick and dive, and he could go and get, like I said, 15 and 15. By giving him 3 or 4 dives, 2 or 3 offensive rebounds, that's 10 points already. Yeah. A couple of trips to the foul line, you got yourself 14, 15 points. It's not hard.
Well, we haven't seen a screen and roll yet from Johnson. We see him dumping it inside. Coach Hesselhurst doesn't like what he sees from the team, so takes a timeout. And it's a good timeout because Ipswich is really picking apart Sunshine Coast in transition particularly. You saw Hall, really nobody stopping the ball, getting in and finishing with an acrobatic reverse layup. You got to have better energy on the defensive end. You can't just play on one end of the court, fellas. Yeah, the Phoenix, early on they do look a little lethargic, which is not a great sign. And it's just, you can just see defensively if they're locked in, if they're in stance, if they're communicating, if they got active hands, getting deflections. And it's probably not a secret that they're the last in the league in steals as well, which I think is a pretty big indicator for me defensively. So. Phoenix have got to make some changes, and that, again, just starts with a bit of effort. Well, we saw Coach Hesselhurst go to the bench. He inserted Jamal Robitou, who's had a pretty good season for the Phoenix. He also averaging in double figures, 18.7 points a game, 7.2 rebounds, and 3.6 assists. He was one of the guys who had a pretty good NBL combine as well. He's a guy that from what I'm understanding is he's getting a few looks as a potential development player as Booker drains another 3. Yeah, really nice set there from the Phoenix out of the timeout. Well executed, equals a good look. Joe Owens' hook shot is good.
Number 24, Joseph Owens.
Booker again from the wing. That one's nothing but net.
Number 22, Roy Booker.
He sure can score, boys. I mean, we haven't seen him live. He can put the ball in the basket. Absolutely.
I played against him in the Seabowl maybe 2010 it might have been. That was his first year out playing for Ballarat. And he was a walking bucket at that stage too and snapped his Achilles. So it's great to see him come back and be healthy and lighting up the QBL here in his first year in Queensland. But he can score the ball. But can he lead his team to W's? That's what we want to see.
Dumps it inside. Johnson.
Beat the big fella. That's how you keep him engaged right there. In good hands to make that catch and finish.
We chipped him just then in the timeout. They've come out with a lot better energy.
They sure did.
And again, Booker, a couple of threes, well executed play down that end. Then a great great extra pass, hit the big guys.
It's the defensive end that they now need to.
Yeah.
Offense looks better now. The defensive end they've got to go to, and I mean they're really using the post entry almost as a point center to get Booker a shot on the weak side, aren't they? And
Delvin Johnson has his pass stolen by Spears. Spears going right at the defense, flips it up. It's no good. Nice offensive rebound by Harvey, swatted by Johnson.
there you go, Johnson. That's what we want to see.
Here goes Roberto, kicks it out. Booker open for three.
Feeling good.
That's off. Tipped out of bounds off the hands of Delvin Johnson.
Subs are coming in. We've got number 25, Matthew Donaldson for Sunshine Coast. And number 42.
Matty Donaldson and CJ Massengale check in for Walters and Johnson. This one could be another like 120 to 121 kind of game, I have a feeling.
Well, if they're going to play defense like that, Ipswich will score 100 plus.
Well, the left ball.
I mean, Green's just sitting there and just a simple skip.
That's the second one in a row we've seen no contest at all from the Phoenix.
Well,
Booker.
just really poor accountability, defensive accountability.
I think that goes both ways as Ralph played him, forced him baseline, just didn't have any help. Then you see Harvey, uncontested jump shot again. Roberto's wing three is off. Booker nearly chases it down. Poulain almost turned it over. Now Ralph with the head of steam. Kicks it out to Hall. Uses the pump fake. Steps into a long two. That's short. Ralph offensive rebound though. And then he's fouled by Roberto. That's looks like the fourth team foul on the Phoenix with 1:35 to go in the first.
I haven't seen Roberto for a few years. I was really excited to see him play tonight. And obviously, statistically, he's having a great season. But his first couple of looks and touches, again, I think they can do better than one pass, pull-up threes down this end.
I hear you, Dave. And it's one thing to put up points, but if you're putting up points on a team that's not getting wins, I'm not sure what it means.
Yeah.
You know, it's a certain brand of basketball you want to play if you want to be successful, and the Phoenix are still trying to find that brand, I think. They showed glimpses of it, definitely, like we saw at that timeout. A couple of great possessions, executed well, but for the most part, CJ's channeling his inner Kobe straight to the post.
Fouls there on number 25, Kane Bishop.
Well, Bishop's got to do a better job of pushing him off the block like that, and not fouling. There's no need to foul. He's got size and height on him.
Massengale at the free throw line on the season, hits at 82.6%. Hits the first one.
Is good for number 10, CJ Massengale.
Massengale hits them both, so the lead cut to 4 for Ipswich. 1:10 to go in the quarter. Here's a bit of a zone from the Phoenix.
Oh my
Poulain
God.
steps out of bounds along the baseline.
What's on the line down there by Mr.
I think Coach Ritchie's chewing out Poulain, and I think it was a bad entry pass from Bishop.
While Coach Richards is chewing him out, we see Matty Donaldson and Nathan Wilson chewing each other out on the floor.
Nice block
Not
by
a good
Harvey.
sign when the 4 and the 5 are just arguing up and down the court. That's not the signs that we want to see.
Harvey shuffled his feet before he put the ball on the floor, so that's a travel.
We're starting to see a little bit of hoops that looks like the combined 7 and 14 record the last few minutes.
Coach Riches from Ipswich takes the timeout, so we'll take one as well with 42 seconds to go. Force up 4 over the Phoenix on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you at Llewellyn Stadium in Ipswich. The Force up by 4 over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix, 25-21. Coach Riches didn't like what he saw, calling a timeout. But the team up 4, playing decent ball, fellas.
Well, I don't want to be negative, but I mean, I think he called a timeout to talk about their zone offense. Now, if they don't know their zone offense after one possession when the Phoenix switched it up, that's poor.
Phoenix have 5 on the shot clock. Massengale's pass stolen by Ralph.
Good D from Pillane.
No look pass to Pillane.
There you go.
2 points for
Lays it in.
Mitch Pillane.
Phoenix will hold for the final shot in the quarter.
He's been really improved. He's had a really good season so far, Pillane. Really improved.
Just knows exactly what he can do and what he can't do, and doesn't do anything that is outside his skill set. He's a really valuable player.
The clock
CJ wants a
expires.
foul shot.
And that ends the first
That was a
quarter.
tough shot there. Massengale wanted to get bailed out by the foul call. Good no call by the referees. Heading into the quarter time, guys, it's a 6-point lead for Ipswich, 27-21. It's a pretty decent first quarter from both teams. Not a lot of defense, but certainly plenty of offense.
Oh, there's plenty of offense, that is for sure, and I'm not sure what to say, to be totally honest with you. I'm looking up and Roy Booker's gone for 15 in the first quarter, and I just hope that these Phoenix boys who are putting up decent numbers aren't content to put up numbers and then just be, I don't know, an open door policy at the defensive end and let Ipswich go and get buckets too, which is what we've seen so far. I hope they come out and play a bit more defense and try and take away some of Ipswich's early opportunities, because they've been killing them in transition and they haven't really had to work that hard for their 27 points. But we've seen glimpses so far that this has got to be a really good game. We've also seen glimpses as to why no one's talking about these two teams to contend for a title. So we'll see what this quarter brings.
Ipswich did a pretty good job, Dave. Pretty efficient, like Dan said, in transition, but they also were effective in their half-court offense as well.
I think they looked really good, to be honest. I was talking to Kane Bishop during the week about their offense and what they're trying to get out of it, and so I think they'd be pretty happy with a 27-point quarter, and equally with holding the 21 would be really good. So I think more of the same. They look really good in transition, but they only get the transition buckets when they can lock in and get stops and run. So.
And where do you think the Phoenix have looked most effective? I mean, really, that was pretty much all Booker in that first quarter for them. No one else has really stepped up. Who are you looking to step up for the Phoenix on the offensive end to help Booker out?
Well, I think they got plenty of scorers, so it's just the matter of getting guys shots that they want to get them involved, and exactly what Dan's been saying is getting guys engaged. You got to share the pill, get some guys that looks surprise, surprise. They get a couple buckets, their defensive energy improves.
And part of that, Dave, to jump in, I'd have Delvin Johnson playing 36 minutes a game unless he fouls out. So I hope Braden gets him in quickly here. But, I mean, the guy is massive, and he should be putting up 15 and 15 tonight, just out of sheer will.
And 2 or 3 blocks.
At least, and he's had a couple of moments where he's looked really good tonight. So I'd be getting him out there and just challenging him and saying, mate, you're here for a reason, time to deliver.
Ipswich has 8 on the shot clock. Spears flips it up with the left hand. It's off Pillane. Offensive rebound and put back.
You can't let Pillane, and give that man credit. Like, he's doing an amazing job and playing his role perfectly. Lots of energy, really hard nose on the glass. Fantastic effort. But if I'm Delvin Johnson, I'm sitting over there getting angry if this guy's going to outscore me tonight. You'll be kidding.
Booker over to Massengale, who lost it. Donaldson recovers and misses the reverse. Might have to start calling Mitch Pillane Mitch Putback, hey?
Oh, Johnny G.
All
giving out
wide
nicknames.
Open. Three-pointer is wet.
He's a pretty money set shot.
That's the second one he's hit. You hope the Phoenix recognize they can't leave him wide open and let him shoot.
Did you say Booker's 35? Is that what you said?
Oh no, CJ's 35. Booker might be slightly younger, maybe a little bit. I'm guessing a little bit younger. If he was Siebling for Ballarat in 2010, he'd be early 30s at best.
Johnson back on the floor for the Phoenix. They're down 11. Booker fires a deep one. That's good.
3 points for number 22, Roy Booker.
I think
Roy buckets, man.
Well, I think again you gotta pick your poison, right? So are you gonna make him a drive, or are you just gonna let him get drain threes on you all night?
Spears from 3. That's too strong. Robitel with a rebound, and he's looking to push. Goes behind his back. Massengale, they work it around now to Booker, top of the key. They get Hall with the holding foul. It's the first foul of the quarter against Ipswich. Now, Coach Riches just got a warning from the referees. Hall steals the Donaldson pass, goes right to the rim and lays it in with the left hand. You tell Garrett when you see him next time, tell him he's got to put that down for us. Don't let him forget it either, Dave.
He likes the casual layout, mate. That's his thing.
Skip pass to Booker in the corner. He gets inside, dumps it off for Johnson, who's blocked by Harvey. There's a foul on the way up. Let's see who they give this one to.
His Booker's penetration's really killing the force right now.
That foul is against Mitch Poulain. Does Harvey get credit for a block on that one? Because that's his second block on a foul call.
No love.
That's a good block.
I think generally if you foul someone, they usually don't give you the block stat, I wouldn't think.
No.
Otherwise, I'd be just hacking everybody.
The Force have got to do a better job of staying in front of Booker and getting extra help.
Hall has it guarded by Booker. He'll hand off for Spears. There's 6 on the shot clock. Hall now for Ipswich. Gets inside. Scoop shot is good. That's a nice acrobatic finish there from Garrett Hall. Lead back up to 10 for Ipswich.
Well, they're showing good patience too against the D, which is really impressive. And they weren't, rushed. Shot the ball 5 seconds to go.
Robitaille's 3 is short. Here comes Ralph. Kicking it, throws it up for Poulain. It's a little too high in front of Poulain.
Poulain called for it.
And Booker on the other end through the contact with the left hand.
You want to get up and go play D though. But tough finish.
Hall steps into a 3. That's wet from Garrett Hall.
It's a fans kind of game tonight, boys. Plenty of offense.
That's right. Robitaille floats up one. It's off. Massengale offensive rebound and put back. Back and forth we go here. It's a 9-point lead for Ipswich. 6:30 to go in the first half.
Do you think there's a chance that these two squads got together and said, we won't play D if you don't?
Ralph gets to the bucket, can't finish. Now Johnson kicks it over to Booker. Donaldson picks up his dribble, skips it.
God. That's the loopiest skip pass of all time. CJ working hard on the glass though. Oh.
Ralph kicks it ahead for Garrett Hall, who recovers. Throws it out of bounds.
What are we watching? What are we watching?
Things getting loose here from both teams. There's a timeout taken by Coach Braden Hesselhurst, so we'll take one as well. 5:53 to go in the first half. It's a 9-point lead for Ipswich over the Phoenix in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you at Llewellyn Stadium in Ipswich. The Force up 9 over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix, 39-30. Dave, I saw you taking a look at the stats. What's jumping out at you with 5:50 to go in the first half?
Well, it's the Booker versus Hall show. 20 points for Booker already on 8 of 15, and then Hall's got 17 on 7 of 12.
Roberto misses a 3. Ralph kicks ahead to Hall. He looked to pass inside. Donaldson nearly stole it. Then Godinette recovered and was fouled. So he's going to go to the free throw line for a couple shots.
Big guy just got to be a bit more straight up and down.
We're going to have number 45, Alec Godinette, take 2 free throws. First free throw is good for number 45, Alec Godinette.
Godinette on the season from the free throw line. Hits only 53%, so statistics say he should miss this one, but he drains it.
Good looking stroke for a 50% shooter.
Owens back in for Ipswich. Phoenix nearly.
Oh my God, fellas.
They're going to get an intentional foul there.
Oh my God.
Matty Donaldson fouling Josh Spears.
This is the Mount Crosby Mustangs best, doing us proud out there. Shout out, Matty Donaldson. Mate, what is going on out here? The Phoenix's offense is in disarray, fellas.
It is, and even, you know, a good young kid like Roberto, the shots that he's putting up, they seem hard work versus getting nice looks through good action, which making it easy. I mean, he's a great natural athlete.
Spears hits both free throws. Donaldson got checked out. Wilson checked back in for the Phoenix. It's a tough call for the Phoenix there. That one hurts.
Yeah, that was. I just thought it looked like maybe a bit of a regular foul, but it could have been because Spears was out in front, so maybe that was the decision.
Ralph hits one from the free throw line. The lead 15 now for Ipswich. Johnson leaves his feet, finds Roberto for 3.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that was blocked.
No, it wasn't blocked at all.
Massengale missed his putback. Hall, no look pass for Godinette. Pump fake, misses the layup. It's tipped around, Wilson recovers.
I don't know why he keeps on taking on Johnson. Maybe he should pick on someone smaller.
I can go straight at Johnson. That guy does not care.
Roberto with the layup plus the foul.
There you go. That's more what we're after.
Points are good there, and we have a foul on number 8, Josh.
That's the supercharged timeout for rest for Booker. He didn't get much of a break.
Roberto will shoot 1 free throw.
And to be honest, I think the game's literally in the balance right now. If Ipswich put a few more points on them and the Phoenix go into the break, you know, down 17, 19, that could be ugly.
I think that might be a little early call, Dave, with the firepower that you have on both sides.
I agree with both of you, actually. Like, John, I agree there's firepower over here at the Phoenix, and they can light it up at any time. All it takes is CJ to get hot. You know, you can rattle off 10 or 12 points real quick. However, I agree with Dave because I just don't see where they're going to get the points from. And these guys that should be putting up numbers, CJ Massengale, Delvin Johnson, who I've said a few times, Nathan Wilson, even really experienced player, they're just not getting any good quality looks. The only one getting good looks is Roy Booker. That's because he dribbles the ball down and does it himself.
We're almost at half time, and the rest of the team's got 10.
Yeah, well.
So I'm just, you know, it's not a high-functioning, sharing offense right now.
I mean, if I was down 12 points and it was because I've run good offense, got good shots, and they're just not falling, you know what, I'll live with it. But if it's because I'm playing not great defense and not getting good quality looks on the other end, I'm upset, to quote Drake. I'm upset, fellas. I'm upset.
Oh, you wouldn't be upset with your boy Mitch Pulane. Another offensive rebound and put back.
I don't understand how Delvin Johnson is allowing that to happen. I'm sorry, give Mitch Pulane credit, but surely Delvin Johnson has to at some point say, man, it's just not going to happen. I'm going to get this board, and this guy who's 20 kilos lighter and a couple inches shorter is just not going to take me to school on the offensive glass anymore.
Harvey floats, hits, plus the foul.
Points are good for number 23, Kyle Harvey.
Phoenix just absolutely flustered right now. Very upset with themselves, the referees. But they're down 16 on a really tough bucket there by Kyle Harvey.
Yeah, well, that was sort of what I was alluding to with this little, 3-minute window. Is the body language isn't great either. A lot of whinging at referees, bitching at each other a few times. I mean, they just got to come together as a group, play some, get some good buckets, get some good stops. Get a bit of grit to them, and then offensively they're fine once they work that out.
Roboto over to Wilson. He'll fire a three. That one's too strong. Here comes Ralph over to Harvey. Harvey rips it and goes baseline right at the defense. Owens recovers and lays it in with the left. Josh Walters a little shaken up along the baseline. Hall checks in for Gardner. I think Walters got a low one there.
Or either that or maybe a cork, but
gonna walk it off. (51-33) the score here. Booker guarded by Harvey. Comes off the screen from Wilson, fires a deep one.
Knew that was going up.
Hall ahead now to Ralph. Ralph calling for the screen from Owens. Driving baseline, kicks it to Hall. Good extra pass there. Harvey gets inside, gets right to the rim and lays it in.
I was looking for the smackdown.
Well, I think Nathan Wilson and Delvin Johnson were looking for the smackdown as well. That's why they chose not to give any help and just watch.
Booker. Now Roboto has it.
I wonder if these Phoenix boys, I'm sure Braden will go and watch the film as a coach, but I wonder if these players are going to go watch the film and just see how little effort they're giving.
Well, at least on that possession then, they shared the ball better and then moved it a few times. A couple passes, hit the open man.
Harvey likes the matchup with Walters. He goes right at him and is fouled. Harvey's going to go to line for a couple free throw attempts.
Number 23, Kyle Harvey will take 2 free throws for Ipswich.
And Bishop checks back in for Ipswich. Joe Owens takes the seat.
First free throw is good for 23, Kyle Harvey.
Harvey hits the first one. 2:10 to go in the first half. The well is dried up a bit here in the second quarter for the Phoenix. Ipswich continues to roll. They're up 19. Johnson.
And that, sorry, Johnny.
You're right.
They're doing a good job. They get post entries, but they're doing it not to score at all. You can kind of see Devin Johnson turns, knowing he's not really a threat. They're looking to a post entry just to get a skip pass out of it. Fairly easy to guard at the moment. I'd like to see him try a few different looks. As Pulane,
well, talking about easy.
An easy look, I know. Simple little roll. Pulane's wide open. Not working too hard for their points Ipswich at the moment, whereas the Phoenix are just having to grind out all kinds of ISO buckets. So we can see another one here.
Number 25, Kane Bishop.
Harvey at the rim, lays it in.
Gee, the D-Trans tonight's been as bad as I've seen from this season from anyone.
Oh, it's disgracefully bad.
I mean, if you got to tell, no disrespect to Force, but they are 2-7 for a reason, and they're looking amazing in transition.
And you hope by this stage in the season, like all the coaches know their players, what works, what doesn't, what will motivate them, what won't. So I don't know. You'd hope Braden knows his squad, but I'd be losing my head over there. I'd pick up a tech, or you've got to do something to bring some energy to the game, because this Phoenix team are just happy to roll over and take a very big loss on an internationally broadcast game, mind you.
It's 59-39 here, though, Dan, and I'm going to go back a couple minutes ago to what we were debating. Is this over already at halftime?
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, they're over. It's finished.
It sort of feels that way a bit.
Oh, it's totally finished. Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, good call.
Pulling gets called for the offensive rebound. Offensive foul.
Well, it's good though. I really like this because it shows you what kind of teams and what men are about. So you're going to go into the locker, you're getting smacked and you're playing bad. What Phoenix team comes out in the next half is really interesting. Do they respond to whatever Coach Hazelhurst says? Who's going to step up for the Phoenix? And equally, can Ipswich now win? Because they've been losing a lot and now they need to learn how to win. So, you know, the third quarter is critical for both teams, obviously, but it'll be just a really nice, real interesting arm wrestle in the third.
Well, there's still 50 seconds to go here. Phoenix blind a couple of free throws from Walters, cut it to 17. 1-2-2 now from the Phoenix. Harvey from the free throw line. It just feels like every shot is uncontested. It's an open look. That's a layup for Carl Harvey. Booker gets inside, kicks it out. Robitaille goes through his legs. It's a turnover for the Phoenix. Referee is just going to get a bit of moisture off the basketball.
You know, I sort of said 16, 18, 19. They hit a 3 here. That's going to hurt.
I think Phoenix, this is a decent opportunity here for the Phoenix to get a little momentum, maybe get a stop, a quick bucket, head into the half with a little fire in their belly maybe.
Well, they shouldn't get a shot if Ipswich run it properly. This will be one shot in half-time.
Ralph comes off the screen, throws it up for Bishop. Bishop swatted by Delvon Johnson. Booker has it. He finds Robitaille. Layup is good. They're going to count the bucket, so it is a stop on one end and a bucket on the other.
Just like you drew it up, Johnny.
Off a big Delvon Johnson block.
Well, good action for Phoenix, and again, that's what they needed. Hopefully, that can be one of the signs to help them.
Well, it is halftime here, and the Force are up by 17, 61-44. We'll take a break. We'll come back with some halftime statistics and analysis and the second half of action here in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Llewellyn Stadium in Ipswich. It's the Force 61 over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix 44. Start of the second half here, Dave. It wasn't pretty for the Sunny Coast. What do they need to do here in the second half to get themselves back in it? This is a really important quarter for them.
Well, they're certainly, that's probably the worst start possible.
Right there.
You get ISO ball, turnover, unsportsmanlike.
It all, that was the Phoenix's night so far in one play. I mean, that's just where it's been for them.
With a cherry on top.
And then Harvey hits the free throw.
But to answer your question, Johnny, yeah, I mean, for me, it's just a bit of attitude. I think at the moment, they just look a little bit lost, a little bit frustrated, so they just got to come together. They've certainly got the skills and experience to get it done.
Harvey went 1 of 2 at the free throw line. Really important, though, Dan, we always say the third quarter is the championship quarter. Phoenix have dug themselves quite a hole. Ipswich looked really good in the first half as Spears drains a 3 to put the lead up to 21.
Yeah, well, Ipswich have dug a massive hole, down 21 points here.
Another turnover.
With another turnover, and they could get hot, you know, they could get it back to 10 or 11 by three-quarter time and give themselves a chance, but I guess the concerning thing for me is they look like they just don't care. So down 21, they could be down 31. It just looks like they've put the night away and they've kind of had enough, these fellas, and I just can't see them showing enough fight or enough determination to get this back into a competitive match, offensively or defensively. I mean, they're happy to probably lose by 20 as long as they get their stats and their personal averages look okay, then it's all good.
Wilson's 3 misses. Harvey loses it out of bounds.
The ball stays in the Sunshine Coast Phoenix possession.
So it stays with the Phoenix. They trail by 21.
I mean, Delvin Johnson was in the NBL a couple of months ago, down with our guy Bevo in the gong. And he looks like he's going to struggle to hold a job in the QBL the way he's going. I mean, you just got to take some personal pride and step up and, you know, get the job done. Doesn't matter what offense the coach runs, what your teammates do. There's a certain element of personal pride that comes into it, I think, as well.
Booker now for the Phoenix, gets a Wilson screen, driving baseline. His pass is turned over. Ralph looking to go right at Walters. He'll fire and out. No, he won't. He'll go inside to Hall. Throws up the right-handed hook. That's off.
Wasn't the prettiest of transition.
That's 3-on-1 basketball at its best, Dave.
Well, Phoenix have turned the ball over on 4 of 5 possessions to start the second half. Ralph from the free throw line. Jumper's good. He's got the jump shot going on tonight. Looks like the Phoenix are giving it to him, and he's taking advantage of it.
But how do you come off an on-ball with no show and take 3 dribbles to the elbow for a wide-open jump shot?
Well, they give it
like it's guarding an on-ball, not that hard. Anyway, I'm going to be quiet until I've got something positive to say, so
Well, Ralph comes up.
Just watch the offense. That's positive, except for that one.
And Ralph was looking for the no-look pass to big Joey Owens. Joey wasn't expecting the pass. So that's a turnover for Ipswich. There's Johnson ripping baseline. Spins left. Hook shot is short. Owens with the defensive rebound. Ralph gets inside, then brings it back out. Finds Spears wide open, top of the key 3, rolls off the back of the rim.
And what I think, what Joey Owens does give this team is, this particular group, is he just gives them such a good post target as well. He had a good seal, which then created Spears extra space on the 3 ball. So he hasn't been playing a huge amount of minutes, had a couple injuries, but you know, that's where you've just got to utilize when he's in the game, what sets you're going to run that specifically make it easy for Ipswich to score.
Oh, Ipswich scoring at will here in the third. They're up 23. Johnson double team, skips it over to Booker. Baseline drive and layup is off. Offensive rebound by Massengale. He's fouled on the way up. You give that one to Joseph Owens. Massengale go to the free throw line for a couple shots. Kane Bishop will check in for Joe Owens. And Matt Donaldson checks in for Nathan Wilson.
What's this player warning for? They're just talking.
Booker having a good chin wag with Garrett Hall and Kyle Harvey. He got the player warning. That went against Booker.
First free throw is good for number 10, CJ Massengale.
I think I don't like the player warning, coachy warning thing. Just have referee have a nice quiet one on a side, and if it gets out of hand, you blow a tee. It's pretty simple, right? I think that's more, as far as a behaviour correction, I think that's better than all this warnings and then they allow it, and anyway.
Bishop hands off for Ralph, goes high and misses. Johnson grabs it and gets it ahead to Walters, now Booker. I agree, though. I think you just let him go. It wasn't anything too bad. And then, if you need to give him the warning, just have a quick chat. Hall fires a three. That's nothing but net. And Coach Hesselhurst going to take a timeout. We'll take one as well. There's 5:44 to go in the third quarter, and the Phoenix trail the Force by 24 points, 72-48. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Llewellyn Stadium. 72-48, the lead for Ipswich over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix.
Well, Johnny, we talked a little bit about what the Phoenix need to do in this third quarter, and the start's been a little shaky. It's a +7 start for Ipswich. Great job, Massengale again on the boards. He's been terrific on the glass. They started with 5 turnovers in the first 4.5 minutes. I mean, this is not gonna get it done when you need stops.
Fouls are on number 5, Garrett Hall.
No, but CJ Massengale, I think we spoke a little bit earlier about, like, if your jump shot's not going, try and get to the rim, and he's obviously not getting looks that he wants out of the offense, so he goes and crashes the glass and earns himself layups and free throws and gets himself going that way.
Seventh offensive rebound.
Which is great. So, I mean, there's small things that you can do to try and get yourself going if, you know, your normal looks aren't there, but on the other end,
2 points for 23.
The Ipswich Force, we've watched them against Toowoomba. We've obviously seen them online in terms of their stats and their results as well, but for as bad as the Phoenix have been tonight, the Ipswich Force have shown glimpses that they've got some pieces to make a bit of a run in the second half of the season at least.
And doing a good job on the double team there, forcing the turnover, and Harvey again converts on the other end.
And it's funny, Kyle Harvey, after that player warning, Booker went over to guard him. And so Kyle Harvey's gone and pick him up as well, and he's going to work so far. A couple of layups here.
Massengale in the block.
He's kind of been the only Massengale's really been the only guy with a bit of fight tonight for me.
And that does not surprise me. He is a winner straight up and down for his whole career, from Division 2 national champion at Metro State to Knox Raiders. He's won at every level, so this sort of performance for him would be driving him crazy.
Well, he turned it over there. Ipswich getting another go at it. Garrett Hall, step back, long two is good.
Take that.
He shot the ball really well tonight. This is the best we've seen him since we've covered in our coverage of him that he's played offensively at least. He's just been really smooth tonight. Booker drains a three.
Points for number 22, Roy Booker.
Very efficient looking jump shot. Not a great.
Yeah, it is. But I'm concerned that Roy Booker is happy to get numbers on a bad team. Like I don't know. I'm not sure that Delvin Johnson's enjoying playing with Roy Booker. Like, let's be real.
I don't know what Walters is doing a dance about. I mean,
He fouled Garrett Hall.
like he had his maybe 1 or 2 hands in the cookie jar.
So that hurts too though, because that's late in the shot clock.
Yeah.
And they did a pretty good job.
I mean, I like that he's trying to get up and in, which is good. But it's a foul.
Harvey's shot blocked again by Delvin Johnson.
There you go. Now, he's just gone and got your block. Reward him down the other end. Let's go get a touch in the block and see if you can go get him something, you know?
Massengale inside, finishes again.
Better couple of minutes here for the Phoenix. Definite energy's picked up a bit defensively.
Absolutely.
Led by Massengale. He's been...
no doubt.
Hall's three-pointer is wet. Garrett Hall, nothing but net.
Yeah, great answer.
It's a 24-point lead for Ipswich. Booker's jump shot is good again.
Another 2 points there by number 22, Roy Booker.
Harvey reverses his dribble.
That's a nice move.
Yeah. He's just really smooth, really controlled. He had a good counter down here. It's just that Johnson was too big and too strong.
Booker starting to heat up from three. It's another one. I think we should just roll one ball out there and let Harvey and Booker go one-on-one for the rest of the game to see who wins.
Well, Hall would say, I'd like to be in that game as well. He's going okay.
I think there is one ball out there. But I get your point. I think you want to see him line up on the side of the court and go, okay, 2, and watch the twos run out.
I think
I just call Booker and Hall every time.
Hall's got it now on the wing. Owens throws the oop for Kyle Harvey.
Third pass there by number 24, Joseph Owens. And the alley finished off by number 23, Kyle Harvey.
Big man to his small forward there for the bucket. Booker's going to fire the wing 3. That's off. Owens grabs it. Hands off to Ralph.
Well, Harvey's come alive in the third quarter. He's got 10 points in the third. 23 for the game now.
Harvey wants to go one-on-one. They're going to get Massengale for the foul on the floor.
Fouls are on number 10, CJ Massengale.
That's Massengale's second personal. It's his third team foul on the Phoenix.
Returning to the court.
Well, the Phoenix effort's been much better, but they're still down -6 in this third quarter, which is not what they needed.
Hall inside for Bishop. Tries to go reverse. Goes out of bounds off of the Phoenix. So it's going to stay with Ipswich with 8 seconds to go on the shot clock. Spears in for Hall. Ipswich has Poulain, Bishop, Spears, Ralph, and Goodney. Here comes Spears, baseline jump shot in and out. Offensive rebound and put back by Putback Poulain.
Yeah, love it.
Can I give a shout out to a listener engagement, a listener question? So CJ won a national title at Metro State D2, and he transferred to Metro, I think, from the University of Washington after his freshman year. from Seattle. I think he was Seattle Basketball Player of the Year in high school for the state of Washington. He married a Miss Washington, who now lives in Australia with their 2 kids. Went to the University of Washington, the Huskies, transferred to Metro after a year, won a national title. Shout out to Michael Shaw with the viewer question. Thanks, Shorey.
89-62 the lead now for Ipswich. Robitaille fires a 3. That's good.
That was nice move. He was pretty well defended by Spears too. Moved his feet and had a good hand. So a nice bucket from Robitaille. He's certainly been.
Jason Ralph said.
Ralph does it from deep to beat the buzzer. And heading into the 4th quarter, this is correct. 92 for Ipswich to 65 versus the Phoenix. I thought the 3rd quarter was going to be important. It was. Ipswich up big. Up by 27. We'll take a break. We'll come back with some statistics in the final quarter of action here in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Llewellyn Stadium in Ipswich. It's the Force over the Phoenix, 92-65. Dave, huge 3rd quarter there for the Ipswich Force, pushing it out to a 27-point lead.
Yeah, it was really well done. Really, they held it plus 10 for the quarter. And just looking at some stats, Booker, he's getting the point a minute game going on, 30 points so far. Hasn't had a rest, 12 of 26. And then Robitaille's chipped in with 10 off the bench.
30 points on 26 shots does not impress me, by the way.
No.
What's Harvey at, Dave? Because he had a pretty good 3rd quarter there.
Yeah, Harv had a good 3rd. So Harvey's got 25 now on 11 of 20.
He's been efficient. There's a 3 to get him going.
And Garrett Hall's got 25 on 10 of 17. 5 of 6 from downtown.
Bigger question, what is Ipswich going to finish with? They've got 95, 30 seconds into the 4th quarter.
They'll empty the bench, won't they, with the last 5 or 6 minutes? So those guys may not keep up the same pace, but surely they're looking at, they had a 31-point quarter, didn't they, Dave? So surely they're looking at 120, surely.
Yeah, I'm going to give them, I reckon about 1-1-2.
About what?
1-1-2. I think they're going to have a, to your point, they're going to run the young guys. It's going to be ugly, potentially.
It's going to be uglier, you mean. Fellas.
But
go ahead.
But sorry, I was going to say, the Force have played really well tonight. Moved the ball well. Transition's been terrific.
First free throw is good for number 25.
And they've been efficient as well, Dave, like you said, hitting over 50% of their shots. They're not settling. They're making that extra pass and really not taking the good shot, but passing it off for a better shot.
Well, and again, taking it back to the old days a little bit, used to try and win the boards, used to be, really big stat. So the Phoenix are the #1 defensive and offensive rebounding teams this year. And Ipswich is +4 so far. So, they're winning the glass. They've been better in transition.
Well, I certainly thought one of the areas of strength for the Phoenix would be on the glass.
Yeah,
that's where
absolutely.
Ipswich has been vulnerable this season.
Well, they're not a super big group. I mean, Harvey and Pillane are kind of their biggest. Obviously, Joe Owens plays a bit as well, but
Pillane gets it over to Harvey. Baseline jumpers in and out. Tipped around. And Ralph recovers it over to Harvey.
Jason Ralph.
Short jumper from Harvey falls.
Down for 23, Kyle Harvey.
Just really patient from Harvey. Good rip, good pull-up jump shot. Really fundamental.
Well, Ipswich are just playing harder. I mean, that last possession summarises it perfectly. You've got
Yeah.
guys on the floor. You've got guys jumping over the backcourt line to save it. I mean, they're just playing harder. And I think if you look at the stats, their two Americans are the focus point, as they should be. That's why they're here. But I feel like even though the numbers on the board in terms of points per player may not reflect it as well as the eye test does, everyone's played their role really well. Pulane's done his thing active on the glass. I think Jason Ralph has been a bit more controlled tonight, which I think has helped. And some of these other guys, Spears and even your boy Brian Bishop off the bench, they've all done their role really well. And it seems to me that they know what their role is. So that's good. That's half the battle when you know what you're meant to do. Whereas I think the Phoenix, no one really knows what they're there for. Who's scoring, who's defending, who's shooting. They're a bit of a mess. So Ipswich deserves some credit tonight for sure.
Roberto with a nice shake and then drains the three.
Well, after maybe Roberto's first 5 shots, which were pretty questionable, he certainly looked good the last half of basketball with a couple of good shots. He's got 13 now.
Tulane saved it. Ralph's going to fire another deep three. That's off the back of the rim. Massengale gets it over to Booker. Booker comes off, gets inside, kicks it out to Donaldson, driving baseline. He'll pull up. Jumper's too strong. And Ralph kicks ahead to Harvey. Harvey goes right at the defense and misses the layup.
See, just on that one possession, if I could make an observation again, Spears got the rebound and he looked to give it to Jason. There's no need for that. Like, Spears, get the rebound, your transition. Like, that's Scottie Pippen's small forward, early trans. And again, they still got a great transition opportunity, but I guess my point is that they don't need to find a point guard, you know, and I think that's sometimes some of the problems with Ipswich in their transition is they're too busy worrying about getting a set and getting in Jason's hand because he's the point guard. But again, have a bit more trust in the group and do it by a little bit more freedom.
Can we see someone throw it down hard in the paint, please?
I hope so.
That's really all that's left tonight to look for. And I hope it's Delvin Johnson just ripped the rim off. Kyle Harvey's a sneaky chance.
Well, I think Roberto's a sneaky
Roberto,
athlete too,
if
right?
he gets out on the break, we could see something, I agree. Does Hall throw it down? What do you know about that?
He's not a massive leaper.
Can you give us a little something, though?
Yeah.
That's what we need to see here, fellas.
Let's see, it might be coming. We'll keep an eye out for it. There's been plenty of transition opportunities in this game, so. Harvey's going to fire the wing three. That goes in and out. Johnson kicks ahead for Booker.
Well, the offense will be pretty loose here the last 5 minutes, right? It'll all be about numbers, and Harvey says...
Yeah, Harvey's not giving up. He's on the
that.
court. He's going 110%, and I like that. It's a good block there on Booker.
No doubt.
Well, the Phoenix are about to empty their bench as well, so...
Spears comes off firing. That one's off the back of the rim. Then Poulane fouls Delvin Johnson.
Foul there is on number 42, Mitch Poulane.
Johnson's done a much better job cleaning the glass. Like the last 5-6 minutes, he's been really good. I don't know what he's up to for the game, but he still can't get a look on offense, but defensively he's been pretty solid, I think.
He really has. He's got 6 boards, 17 boards.
And I think
a couple blocks.
Let's give Ipswich a bit of credit as well, though, because every time he has gotten possession, he has been double teamed. So they're really focusing on not giving him any open looks. But I think he's done a pretty decent job recognizing that and passing out of those doubles.
But I think Phoenix, I agree 100%, but I get the feeling just from watching that the Phoenix enter the post with no intention of that post player looking to score.
Yeah.
They similarly enter it. I don't know if it's bullets, I don't know. But they enter it to the post with the idea that it's going to get trapped, and the post player just turns and tries to skip past it every single time. Not really trying to score. It's purely an entry pass to get a weak side look, as opposed to let's work through an offense to get a post up to get a bucket. That's what I see. So Delvin Johnson becomes a facilitator rather than a scoring focus, and he obviously is not very happy about it. That's my view, just having watched the last 35 minutes.
I'd say there's a fair few cats that look pretty unhappy on that Phoenix roster.
Oh, no, they all look unhappy. I'm talking about that specific role on offense.
I know.
I mean, why don't, I don't know, get some middle on balls. And Trigger and Mackay did it perfectly last year with Sean Bruce. It was so hard to guard that Lucas Walker, Cam Trigar, middle on ball for Sean Bruce. Put Roy Booker at the edge of the circle at halfway. Come and set that north-south on ball pick with Delvin Johnson. Just see what happens. Get Delvin Johnson rolling. Maybe Booker comes off and dishes it to him. He gets a layup, a dunk. Gets feeling good about himself, you know.
Yeah,
Booker gets to the elbow, a little mid-range. I think that's
Johnson
the sort of thing they need to see.
Illawarra used him well in that similar type action, I think, too, Dan, where he was setting those big high screens, diving hard. Again, because it makes the offense have to, the defense, sorry, have to adjust to try and hold his position. Then I got shooters all around me.
I don't think he's Shaquille O'Neal where you can just dump it into the post and say, go get me something. I think he's got to catch it off the offensive board, put back, pick and roll, dive, you know, hit him on the roll to the rim, layup. I think that's where he's going to get his buckets from, and he hasn't really had those opportunities. He's a facilitator in the post, which doesn't suit him, I don't think. Like here, right here, it's crowded. He's got nowhere to move. He's a passer.
There's a wedgie. Robichaux's three. It's wedged in there between the rim and the backboard.
Yeah, it looks like it's been a challenging season for Coach Hazelhurst too. They did the rip on night one, and then it's been a little up and down since then.
Robichaux goes off the back of the defender and then gets fouled on the way up. It's a good recognition there from Robichaux. You got Beatty Hooper out there for the Phoenix. Also have Hayden McNaughton out on the court with Robichaux. Delvin Johnson.
Well, Ipswich.
Josh Walters.
Ipswich resident force man Ralphie's sneaking on a triple-double, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Six steals.
Well, he's been very good tonight.
If his home court stat keepers are worth their weight in gold, he could go to the bench right now and still get a triple-double. That's what we have home court for.
Nice pass.
That's a great pass inside. And a nice take there by Beatty Hooper.
But I think, too, honestly, coming back to what we started the show with, is the ball out of Jason's hands a bit is maybe why Ipswich look better, too. I mean, Phoenix have been pretty rubbish tonight, let's just say that. But I think Ipswich were a bit better in trans. They led a bit freer on offense. And again, look at it. Jason's had an impactful night, really efficient statistically, and he's been good, and he hasn't had to overdo things. So I think that might be a good, good film session here for the Ipswich coaching staff too, as to a bit more involvement from the other guys.
Yeah, I think we probably saw more of that in the first half. Hall became more of a scorer in that second half as opposed to the facilitator he was in the first. Bishop gets it over to Gardiner. Up and under, layup is good from Alec Gardiner. Johnson's pass tipped out of bounds by Ralph. Good active hands there by Ralphie. Took out a few beverages along the baseline there.
Yeah, well, the free offense has been pretty dry here in the fourth. We've got an 8-9 quarter so far.
Yeah, I think, you see the Phoenix have gone to the bench, but things certainly not as efficient as they had been for the Force either. As Hooper fires the corner three, that one's a little strong. Ralph gets that rebound. Then there's a foul. That one's going to go on McNaughton. 13th foul for the Phoenix. First one on Hayden McNaughton. Lachlan McGregor checking in for Joey Owens. Owens was nice tonight too. He doesn't put up much of a stat sheet, but did a good job on the glass and defensively for Ipswich.
Well, this is where I'd like to see him play. But, this is 4 minutes. Game doesn't matter. It's over. That's where he needs to play more and just to continue to work on getting in a good flow.
Kane Bishop with the turnaround jump shot.
2 points there for number 25, Kane Bishop.
Only played 12 minutes tonight, Joey Owens.
McNaughton finishes through the contact. That's a nice bucket there from Hayden McNaughton.
44, Hayden McNaughton.
McGregor took a little extra step. A little overexcited there from Lachlan. Roberto out to Walters. Good challenge there from Gunday. Good finish though by Walters. Got 3 minutes to go in the game. Ipswich still up 22 points. Oh, I thought Ralph was gonna fire that one. He thought about it.
So did I.
He seriously thought about that one. Here comes Hall. Gets it out. McGregor will fire the wing three. Hits the front of the rim. McNaughton looking inside. Pass is stolen by Hall. Here comes Bishop. Goes up and lays it in.
25, Kane Bishop.
So Bishop might throw it down for us, Dave.
Well, I haven't seen that for a while, maybe.
Roberto's pass nearly stolen. Walters recovers. Tipped around. Ralph grabs it. Here's a 3-on-1. Hall puts it up. His pass, though, stolen by Hooper. And now it's a 3-on-2. Hooper.
Well, they're going to end up getting their average, or close, of 20 turnovers a game for the Phoenix.
Coach Esselhurst takes a timeout. We'll take one as well. 2:03 to go. It's 108-82. Ipswich over the Phoenix. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia.
Got some fresh subs on for Ipswich, number 13, Kobe Robinson. And number
Back at
9,
Llewellyn
Jared
Stadium.
Kadini returns to the court.
Checked in a couple of young guys for the Force. Kobe Robinson's in the game.
Yeah, both teams emptying the bench. Phoenix has Jackson Green, Hayden McNaughton, Bailey Brown at the free throw line. Noah Benjamin in there as well, along with Beatty Hooper. Brown missed the first one. Second one's up. That's good.
Free throws down for number 11, Bailey Brown.
Bishop on there
First time on the court tonight.
with Jared Hepahe Carini, Alec Godney, Lachlan McGregor, and Kobe Robinson.
Nice move.
Number 9 takes it all the way.
Jared Hepahe Carini with a nice bucket.
It's hard work sitting there for 2 hours and not moving, so good to see the young fella come in and be aggressive.
Travel call against Jackson Green.
Young fella.
Godney finds a Kobe Robinson open in the corner. Three-pointer is good from Kobe Robinson.
And that's what he can do. Robinson just like his pops, likes to shoot the tray.
Offensive foul called. Bailey Brown charging through. Jared Hepahi-Karini. Bishop's pass for Godinez is there.
We got one. I didn't expect that.
Well, Godinez's been throwing him down in warm-ups. He puts it down with 2 hands on that one.
I thought my throw it down dream for the night was over when CJ checked out.
No, I saw Godinez in the warm-ups. He was capable.
He was putting down some nice ones in the warm-ups. That was pretty good too. Nice look there from Bishop also. Turnover by the Phoenix. Now 46 seconds to go in this one. Fellas, where to here for the Ipswich Force? 3rd win of the season. Really impressive game from the Force. They pretty much won this game from the start, and they've carried the lead all the way through to the end. Really good performance though. Now Ipswich probably has left it a bit too late to go to the finals, but certainly they can make some noise in the remaining games.
Well, they can, and they, again, they had a new group. Obviously, Spears and Owens came down from Townsville, which is, 2 great signings. Plains had a good season as well.
It's the yellow line, not the. What the? I don't know what happened there.
But I mean, they have an opportunity, Johnny, if they get super hot, to sneak into the 8. Because I mean, if you look after number 4, it's. There's a lot of evenness where if teams can get hot and string 3 or 4 together.
McGregor drains a deep one. Then Hepahi-Karini gets the steal and the lane.
2 points for number 9, Jared Hepahi-Karini. 6
Oh,
seconds left in the game.
Great win for the Force, and good to see them coming back with a much-needed win.
That was a great win there from the Ipswich Force, taking it from start to finish. It's going to finish a 120-83 win for the Force. Really, overall, great performance from Ipswich and a really well-balanced attack from the Force. They got contributions from everyone tonight. Harvey carried them at times. Garrett Hall carried them at times. Pulane did his work with the putback king himself. It was just a really nice performance from Ipswich, and great to see for the Force to come out and win. And a disappointing performance on the other end from the Phoenix. We definitely thought that they were an opportunity to get a win for themselves tonight and maintain their finals push. This one almost knocks them out, and you got to think if they're going to come out with the energy they had tonight, they have no chance of finals.
Yeah, they just look really flat overall, and there were some good patches where they dug in defensively and made a bit of a stand, but unfortunately that was few and far between. And again, at this level in our QBL, you got to come to play every night, and they just didn't come tonight.
Dan, what are your thoughts?
I reckon you guys have captured it pretty well. I mean, it was really disappointing from the Phoenix. They've got a pretty good roster, but obviously just struggling to put it all together. Whereas I think the Ipswich Force, again, haven't had the best season in terms of wins and losses, but they showed a lot of effort tonight, and I think it's great when you're at home and you've got people that pay to come and support the club, and some juniors walking around here that you can put on a performance like that at home. I think that's really great for the Ipswich Basketball Association, and hopefully this is the prompt that gives them some confidence to move forward over the next few weeks and see if they can sneak into the 8, because they certainly showed a lot of effort and a lot of heart, and also a fair bit of talent tonight. So great work from the Force, but the Phoenix, they really need to review what's happening internally, because they just didn't look like they were that interested tonight.
Yeah, it was disappointing, Dave. Let's take a look at the final statistics before we wrap things up.
Yeah, sure. Ralphie, one helper short of a triple-double, 11 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Harvey finished with 32 on 25 shots. Pretty efficient clip to go with 4 rebounds. Wasn't a huge rebounding night for Harvey, but certainly efficient scoring. Spears with 9, Pulane 14 and 12. Garrett Hall finished with 25 and 8 dimes. and good help from the bench in the end. Bishop 7, Godin 8, Joey Owens with 6. For the Phoenix, Booker was 32 points, Massengale 12, Johnson 6 points, but certainly was an animal on the glass, 19 rebounds and 4 blocks. And then Roberto came on late and as in offensively and finished with 15. So that's the game.
That's the game. Just looking ahead to next weekend, Ipswich takes a trip up to Gladstone on Saturday night to take on the Port City Power. That's at 8 p.m. Sunshine Coast Phoenix have a bye next week, so it couldn't come at a more opportune time. Our QBL game of the week, though, next week has the Rockhampton Cyclones and Rockets traveling down to Brisbane to take on the Capitals. The women tip at 11 a.m. on Sunday, followed by the men at 1 p.m. That's going to wrap things up for us here. It's a 120-83 win for the Ipswich Force over the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. I got to thank Dave Derwin and Dan George on the call with me. I want to thank Regan Baker on the production panel, Chris Sieber on the camera as always, James Bowman down in Sydney from the Australian Sports Network. I'm John Guarna. Thanks everyone for tuning in to another presentation of the QBL Game of the Week by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. We'll see you next week.